The unwelcome guests. The sleek obsidian hull of the Imperial scout ship Whisper of Shadows glided silently through the inky blackness of space. Its stealth systems, the pride of the Galactic Empire's technological prowess, rendered it invisible to all known forms of detection. Captain Zixtal, a veteran of countless surveillance missions, reclined in his command chair, tentacles twitching with boredom. Another routine sweep of an unremarkable sector. He muttered to his first officer, Vela. "Why do we even bother?" Vela's compound eyes flickered with amusement. "Protocols, sir. The Empire leaves no stone unturned, no planet uncharted." As if on cue, the ship's sensors pinged softly. Zixtal straightened, his boredom evaporating instantly. "Report." "Sir, we've detected a Class M planet in the next system," the sensor operator announced, surprise evident in their voice. It's not in our database." Excitement rippled through the bridge. An undiscovered habitable world was rare these days, with the Empire's vast reach. Zixtal's tentacles curled with anticipation. "Set a course, maximum stealth. Let's see what we found." The Whisper of Shadows accelerated smoothly, its advanced engines leaving no trace as it approached the blue-green orb hanging in space. As they entered high orbit, the crew gasped collectively. The planet was alive with activity. "Sir, I'm detecting multiple artificial satellites, spacecraft, and by the Emperor's tentacles, they have a primitive space station," Vela exclaimed, her usual composure shattered. Zixtal leaned forward, his eyes wide. "Impossible. Our long-range scans showed no signs of advanced civilization in this sector. How could we have missed this?" The answer came swiftly and unexpectedly. Without warning, the ship's systems flickered, consoles sputtering and alarms blaring. The cloaking device, their impenetrable shield of invisibility, wavered. "What's happening?" Zixtal demanded, his voice rising in panic. The chief engineer's voice crackled over the comms, strained and confused. "Captain, we're experiencing some kind of interference. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Our systems can't cope with it." As the crew scrambled to regain control, a new alert sounded. The tactical officer, his exoskeleton pale with shock, reported, "Sir, we've detected a large object on a collision course with the planet. It appears to be a meteor." Zixtal's heart sank. They were about to witness the extinction of a budding civilization, helpless to intervene without revealing themselves. "May the Emperor forgive us," he whispered, bracing for the impact. But the impact never came. Instead, they watched in awe as a barrage of missiles launched from the planet's surface, streaking towards the incoming meteor. With precision that defied belief, the projectiles struck their target, shattering the space rock into harmless fragments that burned up in the atmosphere. The bridge of the Whisper of Shadows fell silent, every alien crew member struck dumb by what they had just witnessed. It was Vela who finally broke the silence, her voice a mix of fear and admiration. "Captain, what are we dealing with here?" Before Zixtal could respond, the ship lurched violently. Warning lights flashed across every console as systems failed cascaded through the vessel. The cloaking device, their last line of defense, sputtered and died. "We've been hit by some sort of electromagnetic pulse," the engineer shouted over the comms. "It's like they knew exactly how to target our weaknesses." Panic seized Zixtal. In all his years of service, he had never encountered a situation like this. An unknown species, capable of detecting their supposedly undetectable ship, and possessing technology advanced enough to casually swat aside an extinction-level event. "Emergency protocols," he barked, his training kicking in. "Initiate Beta 7 retreat pattern. We need to get out of here now." As the Whisper of Shadows limped away from the mysterious blue planet, its crew worked feverishly to restore their damaged systems. Zixtal stared at the view screen, watching the world shrink into the distance. His mind raced with the implications of what they had discovered. "Sir," Vela approached cautiously, "what do we report to Imperial Command?" Zixtal's tentacles writhed in agitation. The truth, Vela, as incredible as it may seem. He paused, considering his next words carefully. We tell them we've discovered a potentially hostile, technologically advanced species that has somehow escaped our notice until now. A species capable of neutralizing our best stealth technology and casually destroying celestial objects that threaten their world. He turned to face his first officer, his eyes reflecting a mix of fear and grudging respect. We tell them we've stumbled upon a powder keg in an unexplored corner of the galaxy, and we pray to the Emperor that they take our warning seriously. As the ship accelerated to faster-than-light speeds, leaving the system far behind, Zixtal couldn't shake the feeling that they had just witnessed the beginning of something momentous. The Galactic Empire, in all its vast power and ancient wisdom, had always assumed it would be the one to make first contact with new species, to guide them into the fold of galactic civilization. But this planet, this Earth, as they had heard it called in intercepted transmissions, had turned that assumption on its head. They hadn't needed the Empire to find them. They had been advancing on their own, hidden in plain sight. Vela, Zixtal said softly, make sure our report emphasizes one thing above all else. Sir, tell them to stay clear of Earth, for their own safety. As the whisper of shadows vanished into the depths of space, the crew couldn't have known that their brief, chaotic encounter would be the spark that ignited a galaxy-wide firestorm. They couldn't have guessed that their warning would backfire spectacularly, drawing the very attention they sought to deflect. And they certainly couldn't have imagined that in the years to come, the name Earth would become synonymous with innovation, unpredictability, and a stubborn refusal to bow to the established order of the cosmos. The Galactic Empire had unknowingly awakened a sleeping giant, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The chaotic first contact. The report from the Whisper of Shadows sent shockwaves through the upper echelons of the Galactic Empire. Emergency meetings were called, strategies debated, and countless simulations run. The conclusion was always the same. This newly discovered planet, Earth, posed a potential threat that could not be ignored. Emperor Zornful, his iridescent scales shimmering with agitation, made an unprecedented decision. We must make official first contact, he declared to his assembled war council. But we do so from a position of strength. Prepare a fleet that will awe these humans. Across the Empire, ships were recalled, weapons primed, and the most intimidating specimens of a dozen species were assembled for a diplomatic mission unlike any other. The message was clear: cooperate or face annihilation. As the Imperial Armada approached Earth, cloaked in the most advanced stealth technology the Empire possessed, tension aboard the flagship Eternal Dominion was palpable. Admiral Kriax, a veteran of 100 campaigns, felt an unfamiliar sensation in his gut: uncertainty. Status report, he barked, his mandibles clicking nervously. All ships in formation, Admiral, his second-in-command responded. We're approaching the target solar system. Stealth systems are fully operational. Kriax nodded, his compound eyes fixed on the view screen. Remember, we reveal ourselves on my command. This display must be perfect. As they entered the solar system, the fleet maintained absolute radio silence. They glided past the outer planets, marveling at the primitive probes the humans had sent to explore them. Such quaint technology, Kriax thought. Surely, these humans couldn't be as advanced as the Whisper of Shadows had claimed. Finally, they'd reached Earth orbit. The planet hung before them, blue and green and achingly beautiful. Kriax allowed himself a moment of appreciation before steeling himself for the task at hand. Disengage stealth systems, he commanded. Let's introduce ourselves. Across New York City, it was shaping up to be an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. Traffic clogged the streets, tourists gawked at skyscrapers, and office workers counted down the minutes until their lunch break. Then, with a shimmer of displaced air, the impossible happened. Massive ships, each larger than the Empire State Building, materialized in the sky above Manhattan. Traffic screeched to a halt. Pedestrians froze in mid-step, heads craned upward. For a moment, the city that never sleeps held its breath. Aboard the Eternal Dominion, Admiral Kriax allowed himself a satisfied smile. Excellent. They're suitably awed. Prepare the holoprojector for my address. But before he could give the order, alarms blared across the bridge. Admiral, his sensor officer cried, we're detecting a massive energy spike from the surface. In a modest apartment in Queens, 16-year-old Melissa Chen was in the middle of a very important phone call when the alien ships appeared outside her window. Holy shit, Jess, she breathed. Remember that EMP device I've been working on for the science fair? I think I'm about to test it on some actual alien tech. Before her friend could protest, Melissa had hung up and dashed to her cluttered desk. Brushing aside half-finished homework and empty energy drink cans, she grabbed a device that looked like a cross between a satellite dish and a lava lamp. Mom's gonna kill me, she muttered, aiming the device out her window. But this is for science. She flipped the switch. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like 1,000 popping balloons, every electronic device in a 5-block radius went dark, including the massive alien ships hovering overhead. Chaos erupted on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion. Systems flickered and died. Anti-gravity generators sputtered, and the mighty flagship began to list dangerously to one side. What's happening? Kriax roared, clinging to his command chair as the ship shuddered around him. Some kind of electromagnetic pulse, an engineer shouted back. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. Our shielding was useless. As the flagship struggled to maintain altitude, the other ships in the fleet faced similar crises. Some managed to engage emergency systems, hovering awkwardly. Others, less fortunate, began a slow, inexorable descent towards the city below. On the ground, New Yorkers reacted with a uniquely local blend of panic and irritation. Alien invasion. During rush hour. Typical. One commuter grumbled, abandoning his useless car to hoof it home. Meanwhile, emergency protocols that had been established after the Battle of New York, and hadn't those movie producers been eerily prescient, kicked into high gear. Police and fire departments mobilized, coordinating with a well-drilled efficiency that would have impressed even the most battle-hardened Imperial strategist. As disabled alien craft drifted towards the streets, quick-thinking construction workers repurposed their equipment. Cranes swung into action, gently guiding the ships to safer landing zones. In Central Park, a massive vessel touched down with surprising gentleness, thanks to the efforts of a team of landscapers with leaf blowers creating an impromptu cushion of air. Admiral Kriax watched in disbelief as humans swarmed over his incapacitated ships. But instead of the panic or aggression he expected, he saw organization, efficiency, and was that a human using a simple pulley system to help his crew evacuate. This, he muttered, was not in the simulations. As the afternoon wore on, the scene in New York transformed from a potential catastrophe to something resembling a block party. Food trucks, never ones to miss an opportunity, set up shop near the grounded ships. The smell of hot dogs and tacos mingled with the ozone scent of fried alien circuitry. Melissa, realizing the magnitude of what she'd done, had sheepishly made her way to the nearest alien ship. To her surprise, she found herself recruited by a NYPD tech team to help get communications back online. "Kid," a grizzled sergeant told her, "you broke it, you fix it. And then maybe we talk about a scholarship instead of juvie, capis?" By sunset, a tenuous form of order had been established. The alien ships, their systems slowly coming back online, were contained in makeshift cordons. Diplomatic teams from the UN were en route. And New Yorkers, in their inimitable fashion, had already started incorporating the events of the day into their routine. "Yeah, I'm gonna be late. Aliens landed on my train. No, I'm not kidding. No, I can't take a different line. Just tell the boss I'll make up the hours on Saturday." As night fell, Admiral Kriax found himself seated in a hastily arranged meeting room. facing a panel of human leaders. The grand speech he'd prepared, the shock and awe he'd hoped to instill, seemed laughably inadequate now. "So," said the human at the center of the table, her eyes sharp behind horn-rimmed glasses, "I believe we have a lot to discuss." Kriax, veteran of 100 campaigns, terror of 1,000 worlds, found himself at a loss for words. He'd come to intimidate, to subdue. Instead, he'd been humbled by the ingenuity and adaptability of a species he grossly underestimated. As the talks began, one thought echoed through his mind. The Empire had no idea what it was dealing with. And that, he realized with a mix of fear and excitement, made humans the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The Galactic rumor mill. Emperor Zornfal's iridescent scales shifted from a regal purple to a mottled green as he read the report from Earth for the third time. His inner eyelids blinked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation among his species. "Preposterous," he muttered, tossing the holographic display aside. It flickered and vanished midair. Simply preposterous. His chief advisor, Valoran, stood quietly nearby, her tentacles curled tightly against her body in anxiety. "Your Majesty," she ventured, "while the report does seem fantastical, Admiral Kriax has always been known for his meticulous attention to detail." The Emperor whirled on her, his tail lashing angrily. "Meticulous? He claims a juvenile human disabled our entire fleet with a science project. A project that, I might add, their own leaders seemed unaware of." He paused, nostrils flaring. "And don't get me started on the reports of humans lifting our ships with primitive machinery, or breathing in toxic atmospheres without protection." Valoran winced. The Admiral did note that the humans seemed to be using some form of personal atmospheric filtering devices. Quite ingenious, really. "Enough," Zornfal roared. The chamber fell silent, save for the low hum of the capital ship's engines. After a moment, the Emperor continued, his voice low and dangerous. "We cannot allow news of this debacle to spread. The Empire's reputation would be irreparably damaged." A sly look crossed Valoran's features. "Perhaps, Your Majesty, that's precisely what we should do." Across the galaxy, in seedy spaceports and glittering metropolitan hubs alike, the whispers began. On Silera Prime, a planet known for its vast information markets, an information broker leaned close to her client, voice low and conspiratorial. "I've got something big. Really big. Ever heard of a place called Earth?" In the bustling bazaars of Caraxis 9, a retired freighter captain held court in his favorite cantina. "I'm telling you," he slurred, slamming down his drink, "these humans, they breathe fire. Saw it with my own eyes." At the Galactic University on Althera, Professor Zix, no relation to a certain scout ship captain, adjusted his optical enhancers and addressed his cynobiology class. "Now, students, I present to you the most perplexing species we've encountered in a millennium. Homo sapiens of Earth." The holographic display flickered to life, showing an ordinary human male. The class leaned forward, anticipation palpable. "Don't be fooled by their unassuming appearance," Zix continued. "According to recent intelligence, these beings possess strength that rivals our most advanced exosuits. There are unconfirmed reports of humans lifting vehicles many times their body weight." A student raised a tentacle. "Professor, how is that possible given their physiology?" Zix's eye stalks quivered with excitement. "An excellent question. Some theorize they have a unique musculature that allows for sudden bursts of incredible strength. Others suggest a form of telekinesis. The truth is, we simply don't know." As the lecture continued, detailing humans' supposed ability to survive in almost any environment and their knack for turning everyday objects into devastating weapons, the students' awe grew. By the end of the class, more than a few were reconsidering their career paths. Xenoanthropology suddenly seemed much more exciting and dangerous. Meanwhile, back on Earth, governments worldwide were grappling with the aftermath of the New York incident. In a secure bunker deep beneath Washington, D.C., President Elena Rossi rubbed her temples, feeling the onset of yet another headache. "So let me get this straight," she said, addressing the assembled group of military brass, scientists, and intelligence officers. "Not only did we accidentally disable an alien invasion fleet, but now the kid responsible is being hailed as a national hero." General Chang nodded, a hint of a smile on his usually stern face. "Yes, Madam President. Melissa Chen's EMP lava lamp has become something of a sensation. Tech companies are already fighting over the patent." Rossi sighed. "And the aliens? What's our status with them?" Dr. Imani Okoro, the lead xenobiologist, stepped forward. "It's complicated, Madam President. Officially, we're in diplomatic talks. Unofficially, they seem terrified of us." She paused, then added with a touch of amusement. "Apparently, they think New Yorkers' ability to adapt to their presence so quickly is a sign of some sort of hive mind capability." The president barked out a laugh. "If they only knew. All right, what about the tech we acquired?" This time, it was Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Technology Integration Division, who spoke up. Her eyes gleamed with barely contained excitement. "Madam President, it's revolutionary. Their faster-than-light drive alone could advance our space program by centuries. And that's just the beginning." Rossi leaned back, a slow smile spreading across her face. "Well then, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have work to do. Let's show our new galactic neighbors what humanity is really capable of." As the meeting adjourned, none of them could have guessed how quickly their world was about to change. In a hidden laboratory on the outskirts of Moscow, Dr. Alexei Volkov stared at his computer screen, his face bathed in the blue glow of complex equations and schematics. He'd been one of the first scientists given access to the alien technology, and he hadn't slept in days. "It's beautiful," he murmured, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "So elegant, yet we can improve it. Yes, we can definitely improve it." On his screen, a simulation of a faster-than-light drive pulsed and glowed. But it wasn't the alien design. It was something new, something uniquely human. Across the Atlantic, in a bustling workshop in Silicon Valley, Melissa Chen, now the world's most famous teenage inventor, was elbow-deep in alien circuitry. A team of engineers hovered nearby, equal parts impressed and terrified by her unconventional methods. "Pass me that soldering iron," she called out, not looking up from her work. "I think I just figured out how to boost their shield efficiency by 200%. One of the engineers cleared his throat nervously. Melissa, are you sure you should be modifying alien tech without?" She cut him off with a grin. "Nope. But that's what makes it fun, right?" As Melissa's impromptu modifications caused the alien device to glow with unprecedented power, a small ship slipped out of Earth's orbit, undetected by either human or alien sensors. Inside, Imperial scientist Korax clutched a data drive to his chest, his hearts racing with equal parts fear and exhilaration. He'd seen enough during the first contact fiasco to know that the Empire was woefully unprepared for what humanity would become once they fully grasped alien technology, and he wanted to be on the winning side. As his ship accelerated towards the edges of the solar system, Korax allowed himself a small smile. He'd left breadcrumbs, subtle hints in the ship's databases, carefully calibrated to guide human scientists towards breakthroughs without making it too obvious. It was cheating, perhaps, but he reasoned that humanity would need every advantage in the coming storm. Because Korax knew something that neither the humans nor the Empire fully grasped yet. The galaxy was about to be turned upside down, and Earth was going to be at the center of it all. As rumors spread, technology advanced, and secret plans were set in motion. The stage was set for humanity's grand entrance onto the galactic stage. And if the rest of the universe thought they were terrifying now, they hadn't seen anything yet. The Cosmic Gold Rush. The Galactic Empire's stern warning to avoid Earth at all costs had precisely the opposite effect of what Emperor Zornful had intended. Instead of isolation, the edict sparked a wave of interstellar curiosity, opportunism, and in some cases, outright avarice. Earth, once an obscure blue marble in an unfashionable spiral arm of the galaxy, suddenly became the most intriguing destination this side of the cosmic center. On Trazax, a desert world known for its cutthroat merchants, Groknar the insatiable paced in his opulent chamber, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he schemed. "Think of the possibilities," he muttered to his assistant, a meek creature named Blip. "A whole world of untapped resources, technology beyond our wildest dreams, and billions of potential customers." Blip nervously adjusted his translator. "But sir, the Empire's warning." Groknar waved a dismissive tentacle. "Bah! The Empire is old, bloated, and scared. We Trazaxians know an opportunity when we see one. Prepare my fastest ship. We're going to Earth." Similar scenes played out across thousands of worlds. Curiosity-driven scientists, opportunistic traders, and even a few daring tourists all set their sights on the infamous planet Earth. The Imperial blockade, hastily established in the wake of the First Contact disaster, found itself overwhelmed by the sheer volume of interlopers. Admiral Kriax, now tasked with enforcing the Emperor's ill-conceived quarantine, watched in dismay as ships of all shapes and sizes slipped past his patrols. "It's like trying to hold back a supernova with a sieve," he grumbled to his long-suffering second-in-command. On Earth, the sudden influx of alien visitors caught humanity off guard, but not for long. In New York, where it all began, the city's legendary hustle quickly adapted to the cosmic influx. Times Square, once dominated by advertisements for Broadway shows and soft drinks, now boasted massive holograms advertising authentic Earth experiences and human food, safe for 80% of known species. Street vendors, showing remarkable adaptability, started offering genuine Earth rocks to gullible alien tourists, along with hot dogs and pretzels. In a hastily converted warehouse in Brooklyn, now dubbed the Intergalactic Welcome Center, a harried UN official named Jake Martinez tried to maintain order as a line of aliens from a dozen different species awaited processing. "No, sir, you cannot buy Manhattan," Jake explained patiently to a gelatinous being that communicated by changing colors. "And madam," he turned to a tall, avian creature, "I assure you, humans do not breathe fire. That was just a rumor." As Jake handed out Earth visitor badges and multilingual guidebooks, hastily compiled and hilariously inaccurate, he couldn't help but marvel at the absurdity of it all. Just a few months ago, his biggest concern had been managing tourist groups from Europe. Now, he was explaining Earth customs to beings from across the galaxy. Meanwhile, in Silicon Valley, the influx of alien technology and knowledge had triggered an innovation boom unlike anything seen since the Industrial Revolution. Tech campuses had transformed overnight, sprouting bizarre antenna arrays and glowing domes that housed exotic particle accelerators. At the heart of it all was Melissa Chen, the teenager whose science fair project had accidentally thwarted an alien invasion. Now 19 and heading her own tech conglomerate, Chentech, Melissa had become the face of Earth's technological leap forward. In her main laboratory, a cathedral-like space filled with a mind-bending mix of human and alien tech, Melissa stood before a holographic display, excitedly explaining her latest breakthrough to a group of wide-eyed investors, both human and alien. By combining the quantum fluctuation principles from the Jorax drive with good old-fashioned human ingenuity, we've created a propulsion system that's 50 times more efficient than anything currently used in the galaxy, she announced, her eyes shining with the fervor of discovery. A Trazaxian investor, looking like an upright lobster in an expensive suit, clicked his pincers excitedly. "Incredible. But surely the Empire will object to such technology being developed here." Melissa's grin turned mischievous. "Well, what the Empire doesn't know won't hurt them, right? Besides, we're just reverse engineering. It's not our fault if we happen to improve things along the way. As the meeting concluded and contracts were signed, Melissa couldn't help but feel a twinge of concern beneath her excitement. The speed at which Earth was advancing was thrilling, but she couldn't shake the feeling that they were playing with forces they didn't fully understand. Across the globe, similar scenes of cultural exchange, technological innovation, and occasionally hilarious misunderstandings played out. In Tokyo, a team of Japanese engineers collaborated with squid-like aliens from the ocean world of Aquarius 9 to develop revolutionary underwater habitats. In Lagos, Nigerian programmers found their skills in high demand as they helped adapt Earth's internet protocols to interface with galactic communication networks. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In a high-security facility beneath the Australian outback, General Amelia Hawks of Earth's newly formed extraterrestrial defense force faced a crisis. "What do you mean, they're not compatible?" she demanded, glaring at the holographic display of Earth's fledgling defense grid. Dr. Ramirez, the lead scientist on the project, wiped sweat from his brow. "The trillion shield generators we acquired work perfectly, General. But they create a resonance cascade when activated alongside the Neptunian plasma cannons. If we turn them all on at once, we might accidentally create a small black hole." Hawks pinched the bridge of her nose, feeling a headache coming on. "Right, because of course, that's a thing we have to worry about now. Options, people." As her team scrambled to find a solution, Hawks couldn't help but marvel at how quickly humanity had adapted to its new reality. Just a year ago, their biggest concern had been rogue nations. Now they were juggling alliances and tech trades with a dozen alien species, all while trying to keep the peace and prevent Earth from accidentally blowing itself up with misused alien tech. In orbit above Earth, the International Space Station had been rapidly expanded and upgraded, becoming a hub of galactic diplomacy and scientific exchange. Now dubbed Terran Nexus 1, it hosted representatives from over 30 alien species, all vying for humanity's favor. Ambassador Xuri, a bioluminescent being from a gas giant in the Andromeda Galaxy, floated in her methane-filled chamber, engaged in tense negotiations with her human counterpart. "And in exchange for access to your silicon chip fabrication techniques, we offer exclusive rights to our gravity manipulation technology." Xuri pulsed, her patterns translating to crisp English through an advanced AI interface. The human ambassador, a seasoned diplomat named Dr. Kion Okoro, leaned back in her zeroed chair, a thoughtful expression on her face. "An interesting proposal, Ambassador Xuri, but I think we both know Earth has more to offer than just silicon chips. Perhaps we could sweeten the deal with, say, access to our entertainment archives. I hear your people have become quite fond of human music." Xuri's bioluminescence flickered in what Dr. Okoro had come to recognize as surprised delight. "You drive a hard bargain, Dr. Okoro. Very well, let's discuss terms." As the negotiation continued, neither party fully grasped the implications of their exchange. In trading technology for culture, they were setting in motion forces that would reshape the galaxy in ways no one could predict. Back on Earth, in a small diner in Roswell, New Mexico, now a booming hub of alien tourism, two gray-skinned, large-eyed aliens sat in a booth, sipping milkshakes through straws and looking thoroughly confused. "I don't get it, Zorp," one said to the other. "We've been visiting this planet in secret for centuries. How did we miss all of this?" Zorp slurped his milkshake thoughtfully. "I don't know, Blark. But I've got to admit, I'm starting to see why the Empire is so scared of these humans." As the sun set on another day in Earth's new cosmic age, the planet hummed with energy, innovation, and possibility. The cosmic gold rush was in full swing, and humanity was right at the center of it all, adapting, innovating, and charging forward into an uncertain but thrilling future. Little did they know, the real challenges and opportunities were just beginning. Humanity's cosmic debut. The hangar bay of the Terran Space Corps flagship, the TSS Audacity, buzzed with barely contained excitement. Engineers and technicians swarmed around a sleek vessel that gleamed under the bay's harsh lights. Its hull bore the scars of countless simulations and stress tests. But today was different. Today, it would fly for real. Captain Zura Malik stood before the assembled crew, her dark eyes gleaming with pride and determination. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored allies," she began, her voice carrying across the suddenly hushed chamber. "Today, we make history. The Dawn Treader isn't just humanity's first faster-than-light ship. It's a symbol of what we can achieve when we reach for the stars." As if on cue, the ship's chief engineer, Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, stepped forward. The venerable scientist had been at the forefront of Earth's technological revolution, working closely with Melissa Chen to bring this moment to fruition. "The Dawn Treader," he explained, his weathered hands gesturing expressively, "combines the best of what we've learned from our galactic neighbors with uniquely human innovations. Its core drive utilizes principles we reverse-engineered from Jorak's technology, but we've enhanced it with a stability matrix of our own design." A ripple of excitement passed through the crowd. Everyone present knew that if successful, this flight would change everything. Earth would no longer be bound to its solar system, dependent on the whims and charity of alien visitors. They would be able to reach out and touch the stars themselves. As the final preparations were made, Captain Malik couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of events that had led to this moment. It seemed like only yesterday that aliens had appeared in the skies over New York. Now, barely 5 years later, humanity was poised to join the galactic community as equals. The comm system crackled to life. "Captain," came the voice of her first officer, Commander Alejandro Reyes, from the bridge. "We're receiving an urgent transmission from Terran Command. You're going to want to see this." Malik's brow furrowed. What could be so important as to interrupt this historic moment? She quickly made her way to the bridge, the anticipation in the hangar bay fading behind her. On the main view screen, the gray face of Fleet Admiral Helena Chin, no relation to Melissa, filled the frame. "Captain Malik, I'm afraid we're going to have to alter your mission parameters. We've just received a distress call from the Andromedans." Malik's eyes widened. The Andromedans had been one of the first alien species to establish friendly relations with Earth, sharing valuable technology in exchange for access to human culture and resources. "What's happened, Admiral?" "The Empire," Chen replied, her voice tight with controlled anger. "They've decided to make an example of the Andromedans for their unlawful fraternization with Earth. A Imperial battle fleet is en route to their homeworld as we speak." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. The implications were clear. This wasn't just about the Andromedans. This was the Empire's first move in what could become a galactic war, with Earth and its allies squarely in the crosshairs. Malik squared her shoulders, feeling the weight of history pressing down upon them all. "What are our orders, Admiral?" Chen's expression was a mixture of pride and concern. "Your mission, Captain, is now twofold. Test the Dawn Treader's FTL capabilities by taking it straight to Andromeda. Evacuate as many of our allies as you can, and if possible, deter the Imperial fleet." As the transmission ended, Malik turned to her crew. She saw fear in some eyes, determination in others, and in all of them, a burning curiosity about what lay ahead. "Well," she said, a wry smile playing at her lips, "it looks like we're going to have quite the shakedown cruise. All hands to battle stations. Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do." Within the hour, the Dawn Treader disengaged from the Audacity's docking clamps. As it cleared Earth's orbit, Captain Malik gave the order they'd all been waiting for. "Engage FTL drive." For a breathless moment, nothing happened. Then, with a flash of light and a sensation that defied description, the stars stretched into lines, and the Dawn Treader leaped into the unknown. The journey to Andromeda, a trip that should have taken millions of years at sublight speeds, was over in a matter of hours. As they dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of the Andromedan system, the bridge erupted in cheers. They'd done it. Humanity had taken its first steps into the wider galaxy. But there was no time to celebrate. The long-range sensors quickly picked up the Imperial battle fleet, a menacing armada of sleek, predatory ships closing in on the Andromedan homeworld. "We're outnumbered and outgunned," Commander Reyes observed grimly. "What's the play, Captain?" Malik's mind raced. They couldn't hope to defeat the Imperial fleet in direct combat. But maybe they didn't have to. "Hail the Andromedan Defense Force," she ordered, "and get me a direct line to the Imperial flagship." What followed was a masterclass in human audacity. Captain Malik, drawing on everything from Earth's history of bluffing in warfare to poker strategies, spun a tale of a massive human armada waiting just out of sensor range. She spoke of planet-killing weapons that the Empire's intelligence had somehow missed, and of Earth's determination to stand by its allies at any cost. To sell the bluff, she had the Dawn Trader perform maneuvers that, thanks to its hybrid human-alien technology, seemed to defy the laws of physics as the Empire understood them. Each impossible turn and acceleration lent credence to her outrageous claims. Aboard the Imperial flagship, Admiral Vexlor felt a bead of cold sweat trickle down his carapace. The reports couldn't be true, could they? Had the Empire so drastically underestimated these humans? The thought of facing a fleet of ships as advanced as the one before him sent shivers through all 6 of his hearts. In a decision that would be debated in Imperial war colleges for generations to come, Admiral Vexlor ordered a retreat. As the Imperial ships turned tail and fled, the bridge of the Dawn Trader erupted in disbelieving cheers. "I can't believe that worked." Commander Rice laughed, shaking his head in amazement. Captain Malik allowed herself a small smile. "Never underestimate the power of a good bluff, Commander. Now let's see about evacuating our Andromedan friends. Something tells me this is just the beginning." As the Dawn Trader moved to assist the Andromedans, news of its journey and the confrontation with the Imperial fleet spread across subspace channels. Across the galaxy, in seedy spaceports and glittering alien capitals alike, the story grew with each retelling. By the time the Dawn Trader returned to Earth, escorting a fleet of grateful Andromedan refugees, the legend had taken on a life of its own. Humanity, barely known beyond its own solar system just years ago, was suddenly the talk of the galaxy. In his opulent throne room, Emperor Zornfel raged at his advisors. "How?" he roared, his scales flashing angry reds and yellows. "How did we let this happen? These humans were supposed to be primitives." Valoran, her tentacles curled tight with stress, tried to calm her emperor. "Your Majesty, perhaps we should consider opening diplomatic channels. The humans have proven to be far more resourceful than we." "Silence," Zornfel hissed. "We will not negotiate. We will not capitulate. If these humans want to play on the galactic stage, then they'll learn what it means to face the full might of the Empire." As the Emperor ranted and raved, setting in motion plans for a full-scale invasion of Earth, he remained blissfully unaware of one crucial fact. The Galactic Empire, long unchallenged and grown complacent in its power, was about to face an enemy unlike any it had encountered in its long history. For in the streets of New York and the research labs of Silicon Valley, in the diplomatic halls of the Terran Nexus, and aboard ships like the Dawn Trader, humanity was just getting started. They had tasted the stars, and they were hungry for more. The galaxy would never be the same again.